Is this thing on? I'm just kidding, I know it's on, but let's put on our serious faces for a second because this is a pretty serious situation. If you're watching this right now, it means that I have passed on or moved up, if you're one of the more religious folk out there. I thought that it would be appropriate to have a last will and testament that included not only my 15 favorite movies of all time, something that you guys have been asking for quite some time now, but also a very graphic video of my death. So I hope that you all enjoy and really just sit through this and appreciate it with me. It really means a lot to me, and thank you so much. Evil Dead. I have a penchant for bloody practical effects, and this is one of the few movies that I've enjoyed watching for being completely ridiculous and bloody all at the same time. Now, I don't think this movie is perfect. In fact, I still think the tree rape is a little bit much, but I still love it anyway. Maybe it's because there's a certain self-awareness to it that makes everything a little bit goofier and a little bit funnier, but I don't know, it's still a real gem. And it's always nice to know that this is Sam Raimi's first film, or one of his first. 14. Misery. Badassery times 20. This is one of the few horror movies in which the hero actually fights back against the attacker, who is in this case a star-stricken mentally ill Kathy Bates. And I don't really know what else to say about this movie. A lot of the fun in actually watching it is seeing everything unravel. Rob Reiner is the director of this movie, and he is a master at building tension, at least in this film here. And he never lets the viewer feel as if they know what's going to happen next, because you really don't know what's going to happen next. It's a lot of fun. I can watch this movie over and over again, and it's a lot more fun when you're showing it to new people because they don't even know what's going to happen, and when they see things happen, they're like, oh shit. It's a crazy movie, and it's awesome. 13. Goodfellas. Wise guys, eh? Sorry. Director Martin Scorsese does so much with this movie that you wouldn't see in any other gangster movie, at least from the 90s. There's so much style here that makes it stand out from any other gangster film. From the way he uses a Steadicam to the way he shoots Ray Liotta's Coke-fueled day in a kinetic and frantic manner. It's a movie with style and depth, and you know what? I probably don't even have to say anything else because you probably know how great this movie is. Number 12. One of the weirdest and funniest comedies I've ever seen, Wet Hot American Summer is a reflection of my sense of humor, and once you see it, you'll understand what I mean. It's ridiculous, nonsensical, and it's driven by the hilarious performances of people like Paul Rudd, Elizabeth Banks, Michael Showalter, Michael Ian Black, Bradley Cooper, Amy Poehler, and it's just all kinds of funny. There's scenes in here that'll have you dying, my favorite of course being Paul Rudd having a temper tantrum in a kitchen. If you're a fan of nonsense and humor, then check it out by all means. It's really great. 11. Oh, wait, can't count. 7. This is the kind of movie that'll make your head spin. Spoilers in a box. No spoilers. The suspense in this movie is off the chain! Not only because of the terrific performances by Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, but also because of the stylized and terrific direction by David Fincher. His direction is what helps this mystery thriller keep you at the edge of your seat even when you know it's coming. 10. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Now this movie 9. The Dark Knight. Probably the best superhero movie ever. The Dark Knight reaches heights of awesomeness that very few films are able to reach. Nolan's masterpiece tackles on themes that deal with ways in which evil occasionally corrupts the better of us. Spoilers! As evidenced by Ben's transformation by the end of the film. Two-Face, no. And it makes for a tragic story that is also immensely entertaining to watch throughout its 2.5-hour runtime. This movie is driven by Nolan's strong script, excellent performances by Bale as Batman, and of course Heath Ledger as the Joker, which is mind-blowingly good. And of course the incredible action sequences. So there's really no reason not to love this movie because it's kind of perfect. So yeah, let's go on to the next movie. Number 8. Number 8. Burn After Reading. You probably didn't see this one coming. Yeah, you actually probably did. I honestly think that of all the Coen Brothers movies, this is their wackiest and goofiest one yet. And that's why I love it so much. Each character in here has their own little quirk that makes them unique and integral to the insane story that this movie's trying to tell. I don't want to say anything else about this movie because there are so many little twisted turns that come about that make the movie all the more exciting to watch. And you know the best part about it is I don't think it means anything. Its main goal was to simply take a look at all of the amoral and unethical people, I guess, in this movie and bring them to life. It's interesting, and it's incredibly entertaining, and it's really funny, so I'm going to recommend it because I just love watching it over and over and over again. Number 7. Shaun of the Dead. Who's up for a trip to the Winchester? Shaun of the Dead works on so many levels. As a horror comedy, an exercise in stylistic quick edits, and most importantly as a satire on the ways in which human beings have started to mimic the behaviors of zombies. A majority of them moan and slouch through their day simply to make it to the next one and do the same thing all over again. Edgar Wright uses sharp dialogue, well-written characters, and a distinct editing style to make this movie one of the most unique and engaging movie viewing experiences of all time. The performances as well, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost make for an excellent duo. The two of them honestly come across as being the best of friends, and they probably are in real life too. Their chemistry is unbelievable, and it's another one of the reasons why this movie is so engaging to watch. You want to root for them as a team, and you want to root for their friendship to last through it all. And with each viewing, you notice smaller things every time that make the movie all the more awesome. It's awesome. 6. Superbad. This is one of the funniest movies I've ever. 5. This is Spinal Tap. We have this movie to thank for being one of the funniest movies about a fake band that kind of turned into a real band, only not really because they had a second album, but it wasn't really a second album, you know? Anyway, this movie was directed by Marty DeBurgi, or Rob Reiner, and tells the story of the once popular fake British rock band Spinal Tap. And that's all I want to say about this movie because the rest of it is all about having fun, having a good time watching this band, getting into these crazy little shenanigans and just being hysterical. This is one of those movies that just makes me feel happy anytime I watch it. Number 4, Drainage! This is my poor excuse for a Daniel Plainview costume and impression, so there you go. The movie is There Will Be Blood. This is one of the darker films on my list and also one of the more ingenious ones. One of the recurring themes in Paul Thomas Anderson films is that of loneliness and that desire to be something great, something more. PTA's central character in this movie is Daniel Plainview, who is a lonely man that intends to stay that way. His goal is simply to make enough money to buy a big house away from everyone else, and that's what makes his character so tragic and so fascinating. It takes some good writing to keep me interested in one character for a whole 2.5 hours, and boy oh boy does PTA do it right. Like Panda Bear on that Daft Punk track, doing it right. Pop culture! There are other characters here too, like a colorful priest played by Paul Dano, whose rivalry with Daniel Plainview pretty much makes the movie. The scenes between the two of them are fueled with so much intensity that I start farting just thinking about it. Daniel Plainview is also played by Daniel Day-Lewis, who is incredible here to say the least, and Number 3. Wait a minute. What's going on here? Oh! It's the Shawshank Redemption. This movie is all kinds of perfection, and in my opinion, it's most perfect whenever it's focusing on the friendship between the two inmates of the Shawshank State Penitentiary, Andy Dufresne and Red. This movie makes us sit through a variety of different emotional scenes as we're introduced to the various characters in the Shawshank prison that are a lot more human than we'd originally expect them to be, but are unfortunately devoid of any sort of hope. The movie's heart comes into play once Andy starts to emphasize this idea of hope and how it's important to have it even in the worst of situations. It seems all too simple to be the film's core message, but that's what I got from it, and it gets me every time. And seeing the friendship between Andy and Red is also just such a great little thing that this movie has that makes it all the more entertaining to watch and all the more engaging. Number 2. Hi, I'm Max Fisher. That's my impression of Max Fisher, or Jason Schwartzman, in Rushmore. My favorite coming-of-age movie and almost my favorite movie of all time, Rushmore does so much in so little time and still manages to be as effective as any other 2.5-hour piece of Oscar bait. Wes Anderson wrote and directed the story of Max Fisher, who is an asshole kid with an inflated ego. I love the hell out of this movie. I love Bill Murray's deadpan performance, I love the way in which Wes Anderson shoots every scene in a kind of picturesque manner, and still makes sure that every scene means something, and I just love the way that Max's character is written. He's honestly the funniest character I've ever seen grow in any sort of coming-of-age movie. Everything about him makes me laugh and empathize with him. All of his quirks mean something to the movie and add to the various themes that Anderson puts in it. For example, Max's involvement in nearly every club in school shows his major flaw, how he's more in touch with his public image and the way he presents himself to others than the way he sees himself. There's a lot more to it than that, and there are a lot of other little things that just make this movie just so perfect, and I can't recommend it enough. And number 1 is Boogie Nights. Is there anything that isn't awesome about Boogie Nights? It has everything that you would ever want to happen in a movie. It tells the story of the rise and fall of a porn star with the best name imaginable, Dirk Diggler. It features a lot of nudity and the gram. Nice! Incredibly well shot scenes. We have PTA's love of the Steadicam to thank for that. And so much more. PTA has created a film that feels so alive and filled with so much emotion that it makes for one of the most engaging movie viewing experiences ever. You watch this movie and you feel something towards every single character because each character, and there are a lot of them, has their own little nuance that makes them as unique as they are empathetic. PTA is also the master of handling themes and connecting all of these characters through that one theme, and thanks to the various essays on this movie available on the internet, I was able to fully understand why all of these characters were tied together and why this movie just worked. These are all very lonely people who are just looking to be not lonely. And the fact that PTA is able to make a movie about how a bunch of people working in the pornographic industry make for a very diverse and dysfunctional family is an achievement in itself. There's so much that I can say about this movie, but I honestly don't want to say anything else because I just want you to watch it. It is amazing, and it is my favorite movie of all time. Well, that's it, guys. Those are my 15 favorite movies of all time. I'm letting you know from over here because I'm about to leave. That's it. I'm done. I know I didn't even give reasons for all the movies, but so just gonna open this door now and live the rest of my life. So thank you. Bye.
Bye.
I have to go, son. But know this, you are, and always will be, frickin' awesome.